Hey everybody, it's Jamie Shaw and Wonderwit. Welcome to Thriving Thursday. And tonight we're going to talk about how to find a great mentor. We have a special guest on with us tonight too, which her name is Thriving Thursday. It's Christina Mitchell. And I've got all kinds of background noise.
We got feedback.
Yeah. It's me.
Way to go, Jamie. Way to go. Hey guys, what's up? It's Wonderwit. Yes, we invited Miss Christina Mitchell on with us. Very excited to cover this topic. Christina, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm over here in California, and born and raised in San Francisco. Woo woo. I have been in online marketing for a couple months and network marketing for a little over a year. We've had some great experiences, lots of ups and downs, but on the journey to seeing great things and thriving. I don't know. What else do you want to know?
Oh man. So, go ahead, Judy.
Tell us a little bit about your take on mentorship.
Sheep. He said sheep. I want everybody to document this.
My take on mentorship, man. Well, I guess that would be like what I look for in a mentor. I mean, I guess somebody who is genuine, someone who is ethical, someone who follows through, someone who's encouraging, who has a vision, someone who I guess think out of the box, so to speak. Innovative. I definitely look for somebody who is transparent. I might not always want to hear what they have to say, but I may need to hear it. And that's something that I value and appreciate very much from my mentors that I have now, every single one of them. And I have, I mean, not like I have like a ton, but I have a few. And I appreciate their transparency and, someone who can look at situations and things from a new perspective and fresh eyes, because, we can't do it alone. So those are the kinds of things that I tend to look for.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, those are some of the qualities I like to and I look at a mentor, it's good to have a one-on-one mentor, but you can also have what we call silent mentor, like big leaders and stuff like that. And I know Wonderwit kind of thinks like that too. So
yeah, I mean, as far as the mentor game goes, I definitely advocate having multiple mentors. And when I say multiple mentors, I mean active mentors. You really want to limit, just because you're going to get a lot of influence kind of different ways, and sometimes they can contradict each other. But when I say multiple mentors, like Jamie said, we do have these silent mentors, mentors that don't participate actively. Like, they don't give you feedback. Like for Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn, those are big mentors for a lot of people. But they're silent mentors. Obviously, they can't actually give you feedback anymore. But mentors like Ray Higdon, his content is out there and it's very powerful, so it will influence you, and you can definitely look to somebody like him as a guide. But not everybody can afford to go through some of these bigger names like Gary Vaynerchuk. I mean, Gary Vaynerchuk, I want to say he's a 5-figure consultant, so not a lot of people can afford that kind of mentorship. And nor do I think Gary Vee actually does mentorship, but that's besides the point. Multiple mentors are going to give you a well-rounded education, especially if your active mentors, one, know that they're working together with you, You know, like if me and Jamie were to mentor the same person, we would definitely communicate about what we're teaching and try to get on a cohesive schedule, if you want to call it that, you know, the same path, make sure we're not conflicting with each other. It's much more helpful that way. But active mentors play a big part in what we do online. This is, like Christina said, this is a business with ups and downs. And you want somebody who's going to guide you through those. Not necessarily somebody who's going to save you from everything, but save you from the big heartaches. I like to think of mentors kind of like bumpers when you go bowling. You want to be kept out of the gutter. You might not make the best shot. You might not knock down all the pins, but it's somebody who's going to guide you along the way and keep you from going way off the deep end. Like Christina said, transparency is very important when it comes to mentorship. You don't want a mentor who's very cloak and dagger or seems wishy-washy in their teachings. What you want is somebody who's very consistent and very thorough. But the biggest thing, I think, to me, when it comes to mentorship, besides honesty and integrity, is somebody who's actually teaching you to do it for yourself. Not just telling you what to do, but somebody who's really making you think and really making you see the benefits to what they're teaching you.
Like all I saw was an eyeball.
What's your name?
I agree with that myself. You know, I think a mentor's job is to point you in the right direction when you veer off path. You know, their job is to course correct you, chip away the rough edges, and make you the person that you want to be. Because, you know, in my opinion, we're all born to be great. You know, our programming gets clouded along the way by a teacher or a counselor or whatever. A great mentor chips away them edges and them programs that you've had over the years and helps you come back to where you need to be.
Yeah, most definitely. I feel like, you know, when it comes to transparency, I feel like that sort of ties in with communication. I know Whit and I are huge on communication, and I'm so glad that we are, because it helps our working relationship as well as our friendship. So I feel like, you know, in mentorship, there needs to be that, like, especially if somebody is active in your business life, definitely is helpful to have that open communication and you know, what's the word I'm looking for?
Like an energy flow.
Yeah.
I just think that, okay, like for example, Christina and I were friends before we started working together. So I don't know if you've ever tried to bring a friend into business or maybe even family into business, but it can be very tricky, especially when you're trying to help guide somebody and groom somebody and you know, really cultivate a business relationship and cultivate business skill sets into this person. It can become tricky because there are those ups and downs, and it can take a toll if you're not careful and you're not a strong communicator.
Yeah.
You can get into hot water real quick if you're not careful. But that's one of the coolest things I think about our working relationship has been being able to have those communications and that energy flow. But bringing friends in, especially if you are, you know what, on both ends of the spectrum, because there's the mentor and the mentee. It can be tricky, but there's definitely a need for strong communication skills. Anything in this business has to have strong communication skills, but when you bring a friend or family in, you're definitely going to need those. Those are like life rafts. So I keep saying definitely a lot. I don't know what's wrong with me tonight.
It is the word of the evening.
It's the word of the evening, and I've said it like 18 times.
Totally okay.
But going back to our notes, you know, something to look for in a mentor. Yes, strong communication sells, but I want to go back to this point of offering somebody who offers to teach you how to do something for yourself. I feel like this is very important. I'm pretty adamant about this. As a mentor, it's paramount to teach people how to do things themselves. Otherwise, you're going to be running businesses that aren't yours. You're going to be doing all the work and getting none of the pay. There's no reward in doing absolutely everything. There is a lot of reward in teaching somebody how to do it. Not only are you adding value to somebody else's life, but you are lightening your load by leaps and bounds.
True.
Do you have anything you want to add on that, Jamie?
Yeah, sure. I'm sorry. Dave was saying my get started now button wasn't working, so I was checking the code on it and everything. But yeah, once it's there, where we were at, because I kind of lost my place there.
It never gets to be said.
Sorry, we were going over what to look for in a mentor, and one of them was a mentor that teaches you versus somebody who does it for you.
Yeah, and I see that a lot. You know, people want you to come in, and they want to come in and join you, and they want you to set up their blog for them and record their videos for them and show them how to do everything. They don't want to do the work, you know, and a good mentor won't do the work for them, you know. And Dave always tells a story about how he showed a guy how to record a video. He recorded the video for him and then uploaded it for him and everything. And then 6 months later, he did it again. And then another 6 months later, he did it again for him. You're not doing anything to help yourself. People that really expect you to do the work for them, I mean, you don't really want them on your team. I mean, if you're being a mentor to somebody, you want to tell them, you know, I'm not going to do it for you. You need to do the work yourself.
Oh,
Yeah, that's one thing. As a mentee, you have to be prepared to actually invest in doing some of the work. And when I say some, I mean 99% of the work at least. You really should be geared up to do 200% of the work. But coming into this, I feel there's some leeway here to newbies. When I take on somebody new, I expect to get questions. I expect to have the little hiccups and the little glitches and how do I do this, and you know, the frustrating moments. Just to touch on, you know, frustrating moments for mentees, you have to allow yourself those moments. You have to allow that to breathe out, because if you plow through them, one of two things is going to happen. Either you're going to burn yourself out really quickly, or you're going to just keep piling and piling and piling and piling, and it's not ever going to go away. It's just going to explode eventually. So I had a very great mentor when I first came online, or I shouldn't say first came online, but when I found my first mentor, she she was awesome, and she was one of those people who would just tell me, listen, have your cry, get it all out. You are getting vibrationally ready, but you got to let it go. And that was probably one of the most helpful things that she could have ever told me, because now when I have those moments, and it's true, vibrationally the energy changes, and sometimes there's friction there. Sometimes you get some contrast, and that's okay. No, baby. And that's okay, but you have to allow the air to kind of air it out. You have to have that space to air it out. Just don't keep hanging on to it. But moving into why this child. It's so distracting. Go. Okay, goodbye. No.
That's like, you know, Katie's my mentor, my sponsor. When I get frustrated with myself and other stuff, you know, I'll start whining to her a little bit, and I can tell when Katie don't want to hear it, because she just goes quiet. Either that or she'll just tell me, well, you need to do this, this, and you need to get to work. Okay. And I just got my kick in the ass and I get going.
Well, remember one of our silent mentors, just like when she would call her mentor and complain, he'd hang up on her. And so the thing is, when you're complaining, there's a very stark difference, and I think it takes a little common sense to identify the difference between complaining and venting. Venting, you're just kind of like blah and you move on. Complaining is, for me, why does this happen? You know, this is such crap. I can't believe it. You're just dwelling in it, and it just festers and festers and it expands. Instead of just blah, let it go, it just grows and grows and grows, and it takes over every conversation you have. And so you have to be very aware of that. And that's something you should watch out for in your mentor. If your mentor seems to make a problem expand rapidly, that's a red flag. I'll say that right now. One, from experience, and two, just outside viewing areas, I've seen that happen, and that's definitely a red flag you want to look out for.
Yeah, to piggyback off of that, I was on a live earlier, and I was asking one of the questions, like, what kind of advice would I give to newbies or people starting in online marketing? And one of the things is that when was looking for a mentor, well, first of all, you're researching the company, but then if you're planning on signing up under somebody that you don't particularly know, but you've built somewhat of a rapport with, it's really good to interview them as well, just like a job interview. Like, you as the person signing up, for me, coming from an HR background, I was in human resources for 10 years, and I was always very impressed with people who would also interview us as an HR panel to see what we have to offer them. And I think that works very well in this industry, because it's sort of hit or miss with who you would end up getting involved with if you just sort of hear the sweet nothings that somebody tells you to get you to join the business, but you don't actually ask them, hey, what's your vision for your team? How do you lead? What is your leadership style? Or maybe potentially ask some team members, how what their experience is like on the team, in the business and things like that, and really do your due diligence and questions, and just seeing not only what the person says, but also how they say it, how they react, and sort of feel that vibe. I'm very big on that, and kind of feeling the energy. So I think that's important when seeking out a mentor as well.
Yeah, I agree. One, reactions to how I think we talked about this, Christina, like when you ask somebody how they mentor, how they coach, how they run their business, or how they operate their team, how they coach their team, you can tell a lot about a person's reaction to it. If suddenly they're defensive, like, oh, well, what business is it to you? Or, they're reluctant to share. I understand privacy. You don't want to give away, all your secrets for free and whatnot. And I get that. I get it. We have businesses to run. We have to protect these livelihoods in our teams, because somebody could twist that information. But anyway, going back to, when you ask those questions, the tone, if the conversation changes tone to a defensive nature or maybe aggressive, that's also a red flag to look for. And reluctance to share. I've done countless Zooms and meetings, video conferences with people when they're interested in what I do. I'm not afraid to share my screen. There are certain things that I stay away from just because they're things that I developed. Those are my tools. And I don't want anybody just going in and taking screenshots of the tools that I've worked very hard to develop. But I'm not afraid to, take somebody on a tour of our back office and, say, hey, like, we've got this manual, we've got these resources available. that sort of thing. And that's something that you shouldn't really shy away from as a mentor or as somebody who's offering to help build a team or help coach somebody through their business. If you're recruiting into a network marketing company at all, and that's something that you want to be doing or want to do eventually, this is your practice round. This is what qualifies you to do it. So you should definitely take that into consideration when you are being approached on your business. How are you reacting? What are you saying? Because like Christina says, it's not just what you say, but how you say it.
Exactly. And a good mentor, will give you some tough love. They'll, like Katie, she, and Dave does it too. You just tell me if your mentee's getting whiny, just give them a little tough love. That's what you got to do sometimes. Because people expect instant gratification when they come into this business. They expect, they're going to work for 2 weeks, then you're going to get a paycheck. Well, home business, network marketing, affiliate marketing, it didn't work like that. You might get lucky and get a paycheck 2 weeks. You might not get a paycheck for 2 months, 6 months, 8 months. Who knows, but when you develop your mentality as an entrepreneur, and know that you're in this for the long haul, you don't expect that. But a lot of people, and I think we all do it. I mean, when I got in a long time ago, like, yeah, I get in, I set up a blog, and then everybody will come. I got a blog set up and nobody came. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Well, then I learned you have to promote the blog post. Wow. Bright idea.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because depending on what realm you're working with, if you're using social media to promote yourself, I think a lot of us forget. I'm guilty of this too, but I think a lot of us forget the follow through. The call to action is only half of the equation, but you got to follow through too. So that follow up, man, that's where the gold is when you're developing that relationship with people. And hey, you know what? I appreciate you tuned into my life for a little bit. I saw you pop on. I don't know if you got to stay for the whole thing, or when you're getting love on your post, don't be afraid to contact people and say, hey, thanks for the love. I'm glad you liked my post, or I'm glad you got to see that. It doesn't have to be anything pitchy or spammy, or don't go in thinking this is one thing you should be aware of. Commission breath is real. It is real, and it is strong with some. And so when you message somebody and thank them for loving on your post, or thank them for, tuning into your lives and comments or whatever, you want to make sure that you're not expecting anything out of that. And what I mean by that is, don't go in there and say, hey, thanks for the love on my post. Can I send you a link to my business opportunity? Or if they say, oh yeah, you're welcome, I really enjoyed it, great, when can you sign up? That's not, no, just stop, sit down, calm down, it's okay. But that's like, after the first date, when somebody texts you back and you're like, so you want to get married tomorrow? Like, it doesn't work that way. How about I meet your parents for brunch? No, it doesn't work that way. Gotta calm down. Don't have commission breath, but reach out to people and be authentic, have those conversations. There's a lot of times in my voice messages when I message somebody that I am like tripping over my words, and I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with me today, but I guess I'm human. So thanks for, whatever we're talking about, I guess I'm human today, but it is what it is. Hope your day's going, I hope your day's going good, or how's it going? And then just keep going with it, because those mistakes, again, are just you being authentic. Nobody wants pristine perfection, at least not in my world. Oh, let's keep going on these qualities.
Yeah. Another good quality was to give without expectations. A good mentor, I go back to Dave and Katie all the time, because they are excellent examples of great mentors. Because and if you guys don't know them, you can connect with them on Facebook. It's Dave Renicky and Katie Stage. But Dave will just jump on a Zoom with you and ask you how you're doing, and if you need help with anything, like 2 weeks ago, I was on a hangout, our weekly Saturday hangout, and I told how my week was going, and I didn't say anything the rest of the hangout. And Dave, he wanted to talk to me. He wanted to know what's wrong, what's going on, and there was nothing really wrong. I was just, I teach all the time. I wanted to sit back and just absorb some information for once and maybe learn something. And I learned quite a bit. There was a lot of other people on there that had value to give, and I wanted to learn for once. And I mean, sometimes, I get frustrated with myself because I don't take enough action, and Dave always tells me that I give plenty of value, and Katie does the same thing. But, when I feel that I'm not giving enough value to people, that I'm not being successful. And I don't expect anything in return, but I think I always have to give more value than I'm receiving. So.
I was just reading the comments in the chat, and Dave had a good point that mentors are not there to comfort you. And that's true. They're not comfort blankets. They're not, snuggle buddies and whatever you want to call it. Mentors are going to give you some tough love. And chances are they're going to punch you in the ego from time to time. And I think that's something that I've made pretty clear to a lot of people when they come to me, whether it's for consulting or actually working with me. But when they come to me and they're like dead set, okay, I want to work with you, I make sure, and I think Christina can vouch for this, and like, there's going to be times where you are not going to like me. I make sure I give that warning because it's going to happen. And I think this has happened with Christina and I'm like, okay, as a friend, this is how I'm responding. But as a mentor, this is how I'm responding as well. I have to outline both sides because I'm both things to her. That's another thing. If you're working with friends or family, make sure you have both responses. That's my tip there. If you choose to work with friends and family, have two responses. It's okay. Say, as your friend, this is what I have to say. And as your mentor, this is what I have to say.
Yep, most definitely. I always felt like there's, it's somewhat of a tricky balance, it could be a little hard at times, but definitely doable, and it's refreshing and exciting to be in business with someone who can communicate in that manner, and it just makes it better for everyone, I think, and people being mature enough to be able to communicate in that manner is also beneficial.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you a good example of a good quality of a mentor. I was always afraid to do video. One of my big mentors that helped me along, which is Pat, gave me some advice. I listened to his advice, but I was still afraid of video. I didn't feel I was doing it right and everything. And one night I come to a hangout late, and Dave put me right on the spot and said, "Jamie, what do you got to teach for us tonight?" And I'm like, "Oh shit!" I wasn't prepared or nothing. And he made me teach right then and there, right on the spot, and after that, I was never afraid to do a video again because I got over my fear because I was in front of a big crowd when we did it.
Yeah, I think that's another good quality is somebody who pushes you past your comfort zone, somebody who's like, you're ready now. I remember, and this is a small way, but it's a very relatable way. When I was getting back into the gym or back into a workout routine, I hadn't gone to the gym yet. I had a spinal cord injury, so I was very concerned with how my spine would react to weights. Obviously I didn't want to make the condition any worse. And I had a very good friend who was guiding me through this process. And I kept saying, I don't know. I'm scared. And she was like, you're ready now. And so I finally did. And of course I was fine, but that's just a relatable example because when it's something that you've worked towards, and that you're going towards, that's the direction. You want somebody who's going to push you. It's kind of like when you're kids and you're afraid to like jump into the pool and somebody just goes and pushes you, and then all of a sudden you're jumping into the pool every 10 seconds. It's like that. You want somebody who's going to push you to do more, to do better, to go farther. That's exactly what you want. And it's, of course, it's not going to be comfort, but success lives in the uncomfort zone. You have to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Exactly.
And that,
Go ahead, Christina.
oh, I was going to say, that's a good point because, and that brings me back to like, you know, the benefits of having a team. You know, the mentor is great, but also being able to have that support all around is really inspiring, because you can get, you know, really caught up in your thoughts, you know, or just thinking that you got to carry everything, you know. So I know we're talking about mentors, but I think that we could all learn from one another, even as a team. And you know, having the mentorship, having the teammates, being able to motivate and inspire on the daily is invaluable. So I think that that's awesome too.
Yeah, I agree with all that too. You know, and another great quality, going back to our list, you know, another great quality of a mentor is edifying and building up others. And you see Dave post in the chat how Diane Hockman, she whooped up on him on a Deep Abyss call one night and just flat out laid him out.
Hold on. I want to state how epic this was, because this was a live recorded call. So the call was live when this was happening. There were hundreds of people on this call. And she laid him out. She laid him out for sure. I almost felt bad, but I kind of knew he enjoyed it.
Yeah, he did, you know, and she did. She just laid the smack right down on him. And he was messaging me at the same time going, dude, she just kicked my butt.
You're welcome. But then, you know, that's how it goes. It's not that somebody's tearing you down. It's that somebody's taking away those rough edges and refining it. So whether it's kind of like remodel, when you're already marketing and you have some things that need fixing, it's a remodel. You go in and you fix it up. There's going to be some gutting that goes with that, but you have to make space for something new. You have to make space for more success. And if you don't want more success, then by all means, stay the same. But if you do want some measure of success, however you define it, you're going to have to create the space for it. And that's going to take some demolition work. You're going to have to take out some of the old. You know, but going back to this quality of edifying and building up team members, I have learned over the years that great leaders showcase their pupils and showcase their colleagues and their team that's around them, because leaders can't be leaders without a team. And I don't want to say followers, because the goal is to become a leader. We're like understudies.
Right. I agree with that. You know, and to go back a little bit about Dave, you know, and like Dave mentioned in the comments, when a seven-figure earner lays the smackdown on you, it's not because she wants to tear you down. It's because she wants to build you up and make you a big leader like she is. And it's because she cares, you know. So that's what a good mentor does. They edify you, you know, they course correct you, they smack you when you need smacked, and they lift you up when you need lifted up. So
yeah, and I want to point out, you know, on this call, even though she did lay it out, you know, what he was doing wrong, she quickly pointed out why. She didn't quite, she laid out why. And that was so important, because she didn't just tear him down and leave him there to pick up the pieces and say, okay, how do I fix this? She told him why it was important, why it was wrong. And there was no doubt about it after that, what course of action to take. A good leader is not going to decimate you and leave you there. They're going to tear out the broken old, and they're going to show you, this is what you need. These are your materials. Go build it. But that goes into our next point of using mistakes as a teaching moment. I always feel that when there's a mistake, a bad leader will take that opportunity to say, I can't believe you did that. I can't believe you did that. That was a horrible mistake. This was so wrong. And they're going to harp on that. Remember, making that bad experience expand. But a good mentor, a good leader is going to take that moment and say, what do you think you did wrong? Why do you think it was wrong? Do you know what you should have done differently? How do you feel you should act now? Or how do you feel you should fix this? And they're going to walk you through that process. Again, this example, I'm sorry, Dave, we're using this example a lot, but she showed him why. She showed him the course of action. So it wasn't just leaving him to pick up the pieces. I don't know if you guys have something to add. I'm kind of like toggling back and forth on the notes.
Yeah, it's just like, just in general communication. And I know that from an HR standpoint, and I'm using that as a reference just because I saw that a lot in interviews or in performance evaluations, when you're talking with somebody who is, within the company as an employee, it was like, okay, well, here's what we saw, right? Here's what went wrong. And now here's why. So you start or you start with the positive and say, I really appreciate your drive. I really appreciate X, Y, and Z. And I think it comes down to also effective communication and being able to communicate, hey, I see that you did this, but here's why, and here's how we can get through it, or here's why, and here's a resolution. And that's very helpful because it makes, it helps the mentee feel like, they're a part of the resolution versus being attacked or something.
Yeah, being attacked or just feeling like they're a problem. That's something, and Dave brought up the example of parenting, and it's very accurate. When it comes to, this is something I can speak on. Having 3 children myself, I can speak very effectively on this. When it comes to parenting your child, when they've made a mistake, you don't just, oh God, you're stupid. You don't tell your children that. I can't believe you did that. This. You don't go off on your kids like that. And mentorship is very, very similar. When it comes to parenting, it's all different, which, mentors have their own styles as well. But at the base of it all, you have a mistake and you have a teaching moment. You have the opportunity to show somebody how to do it correctly for themselves. You have the opportunity to, it's kind of the teach a man to fish moment. You fish for him, you give him a fish, you feed him for a day. But if you teach him how to do it himself, he has fish for a lifetime, right? He knows how to fish for the rest of his life. So it's the same concept with mentorship. You don't want somebody who's just going to hand you a fish and say, here you go, I recruited for you. This is all set up. There you go. There's your $5 million. Yeah, you know what? That probably sounds nice, but easy come, easy go. And you'll never be able to duplicate that. You'll never be able to set that up again. So, you can make a quick buck maybe if you have that kind of setup with somebody, which it's not prevalent. So good luck. But that's out there. And that's something that you want to watch out for too, is people who make big, bold statements, big, bold promises. I'm going to make you rich, or I'm going to make you, your first, $10,000 online overnight. And I don't even know what these promises are because I can't comprehend, but you want to watch out for these big, bold promises. If it seems too good to be true, then that's when you need to ask questions. That's when you need to start showing up in your own mind. Don't get blindsided. It's easy to get stuck in those headlights and go, oh my God, yes, finally, all my prayers have been answered. Oh my God. Especially when you are struggling. It is easy to take that and say, everything's fixed. It's not. I assure you, even if it were true, even if somebody said, hey, I can make you $500 tomorrow if you just sign up under me. Even if they gave you the $500, guess what? It's a one-time deal. They didn't teach you anything. They didn't show you how it was done. You have no tools. You have no skills. You have nothing to recreate that. So you cannot create another round. You cannot duplicate that. You can't make an income or a living off of that. You just got a one-time payout. And in the long run, what did that do for you? Not much, because the time goes by and you're back in the hot water with your bills. You're back in the hot water and you're sitting there wondering what to do, how to fix this. And you're back in the same spot.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. In which that takes us into the next subject, which is a good mentor is interested in a business relationship and partnerships. You know, I'm on the 24-hour marketing mastermind team. I'm on the panel. And I didn't get on the panel because I got promoted to the panel. I got on the panel because I worked my ass off and showed that I deserved to be on the panel. I made monster comments in the comments every week and showed up on another hangout, made monster comments in there. And Dave recognized that and recognized that I was growing into a leader, and he took me under his wing, and Katie took me under their wing, and they chipped away the rough edges, you know, and brought me into this, and, you know, and every time Dave's put a challenge out to me, you know, I've tried to meet the challenge. He put a challenge out to me over a year ago to start doing my own hangout. I started out Jamie Shaw Marketing Show. Then I met with Wonderwit, and, you know, we jived so well together. We formed a partnership, and I decided, you know, from some other advice from another mentor, you know, above Katie and Dave, a mentor gave me some advice that I should change the name to Thriving Thursday and maybe get a partner. You know, as soon as he said get a partner, I knew exactly who my partner was going to be. It was going to be Wonderwit, because we're like peanut butter and jelly. We go together good.
I like the way you said it. I like the way you said it too. That tone was perfect. We're a little goofy. We're a little nutty. You know, there's some sweet moments in here, but it's good. It works.
You gotta have fun while you're doing this. If you're not having fun, what's the point of doing it?
Exactly. You know, we do have fun. We do. And when I was on the Jamie Shaw show, it was the first Thursday of every month that I would go on, and I really look forward to it. I enjoy this so much. But you know, going back to the point of, you know, a mentor who's interested in business partnerships. Here's the thing: is when you mentor somebody, it's not that you want to be above somebody. That's an ego trip. Real mentors don't want to stay above you forever. They don't. In fact, they probably don't like being above you now. They don't like that concept. But you're learning, you're growing. And the point is for you to outgrow a mentor, which is another reason why I advocate for having several mentors when you start out, or a couple. You don't want like 15. Trust me, that's a bad idea. You know, 1, 2, maybe 3, that would be pushing it. But, you know, having, and again, active mentors, but anyway, having multiple mentors, you're going to outgrow, and you're going to need somebody who's going to transition. So when you have these mentors who have a little bit different skill sets, but they kind of go in the same direction, maybe parallel to each other, that's going to set you up for success. It's going to get you ready to say, okay, maybe I'm going a little more this way. You know, I think this is ringing a little bit more true to where I want to go. And, you know, my path is kind of to the left and not to the right. But, you know, mentors don't want to stay above you forever. They want to cultivate you so that you are strong enough to lead on your own. Leaders don't make followers. Leaders make more leaders. That's how we run this. Christina, did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
No, I kind of ran out of things to say, but no, I'm just observing, absorbing, and all that. I definitely agree with all the points.
I think this next one of investing time would be one of your skill sets. I think you have a lot of valuable information on investing time with people.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I actually I do that. I try to do that as much as I can online, and I do that in person as well. Like I get a lot of phone calls, from friends, past business partners, and things like that. Just things that they're going through, mindset, business ideas. Sort of tossing around ideas about how they should approach X, Y, and Z. And I feel like that's super fun. But I also have gotten to a point where there's things that have not changed yet. They're coming with the same issue over and over again, and then they haven't actually made any progress to change. So there's sort of this like gray area where I was like, okay, I want to make sure that I'm investing the time in people who actually want to change and want to do more for themselves and want to get past whatever hurdles they have going on. And then you've got, the people where you feel like you sort of spent that time and you can't really get it back because they're just never gonna change. But I think it's very important to invest a lot of time into people who have that are like-minded vision, of where you want to go, what you want to do in your business, how to balance, do work-life balance and things like that. So I'm investing time in people I feel like they're going to remember that because they're going to feel valued. They're going to feel like they're being helped, and Jamie, like you said, they're being the edges are being chipped away, and then you're kind of helping them to see the value that they have within and what they can offer others if they just sort of get out of their own way. So I definitely think investing in people is huge and important.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite sayings is I have to get out of my own way. And it's true because 85% of the time I'm in my own way and I got to get out of my own way. And I wanted to bring something up. Kevin Koppel posted in the comments that you were talking about people, mentor promising money, and so that ruined me. I was promised, I lost it. I was promised $3K in my first week, and I blindly trusted the person, that mentor, and quit my job. They vanished. Live and learn. And that's terrible. That we have to experience that as marketers. Mentor promises that they'll make you all kind of money, or $3K in this case, and you quit your job because you think you're going to make $3K. Most people make $3K a month. That's their average earnings a month. So if that kind of thing, I would think real hard about it too. But a lot of mentors are sharks. They're in it for the kill. They're in it for the money. And this group of people, a lot of the people you see in the chat, at the end of the day, we're here to make money. We're here to build a business long term. The end object is to make money, but we're not going to promise you that we can make you $3,000 a month for the next 6 months. We're going to come in, we're going to bring you in and invite you, and we're going to show you the techniques that we use to make money. Like Dave's working on his new course, SAM 3.0. SAM 2.0 works if you go in and do the work that he shows you, and a lot of it's product reviews and stuff like that and ranking videos. But if you go in and do what he does step by step, and they talked about this last night on Wisdom Wednesday, if you just follow what the successful mentors are doing, you'll have success too. And a lot of people live on the hope and dream, well, I'll make you $3,000 in the next month. So they blindly get in and they lose $3,000. But you need to do your research on that mentor. Are they making $3,000 a month? Is it possible for them to make you $3,000 a month? Most mentors like that, no. Dave has never once promised me that he can have me making $3,000 a month or $2,000 a month or $500 a month anytime. Katie's never once promised me that they can make me any kind of money at all. They tell me and show me what I need to do, and I have to do the work. It's all up to me to do the work.
Yeah. See, I can't promise to make you any amount of money. I can promise to show you the skills you need to make money. That's all I can promise. I can promise to give you skills. I cannot promise anything that you're going to make any money with it. Because as much as I teach you, I'm not liable for what you apply, what you actually go out and do. You still have to go and do it yourself. You still have to do those things, do the thing that makes the money. But yeah, these big bold promises, they're prevalent. I hate saying this, but they're prevalent in this industry. You know, you see it a lot. A lot of I know MLMs in particular. There's a couple out there. I don't want to bash MLMs, but there's a couple out there that are really known for these, 5-figure bonus claims. And it's like, yeah, of course you're getting people to join in and expand that company, but how many people have you made a millionaire? How many people have you actually gotten that bonus? How many people have actually kept that bonus? Because that's another thing with MLMs, is usually tied to the bonus is a certain amount of business volume, sales that you have to make to keep it because of the payout structure. But it's baiting people is something you have to be very careful of. I once heard somebody say, if you don't think that you can make, I want to say it was like $1,000 that he used. It wasn't, a 5-figure big bold promise. It was something kind of reasonable, saying that, if let's just say a full-time income. If you don't think that you could make a full-time income with your, network marketing business or your affiliate marketing business, then you don't have a good business to offer. That's not a real income opportunity. And the thing with that, saying something like that, is a lot of these affiliate programs are meant to be supplemental. They're not meant and designed to actually build a full-time income. Is it possible? Yes. But is it probable? Probably not. Probably not. You want to proceed with caution. And a lot of us get swindled into thinking that, we've got somebody who's very charismatic and very, very good with what they're saying, making these bold promises, and they've got that charisma behind it to just soothe all those little red flags. Let me smooth out these bumps for you, so to speak. And it becomes very convincing. And of course, the persuasion wears you, especially if you are struggling. It can be very difficult to keep your senses about you when you've got somebody like that trying to sway you. But that's also another red flag you should look for, is how persuasive are they trying to be? And how authentic are they really being? Are all your conversations strictly them persuading you into business? And if there's a moment of, chit chat or maybe some small talk, does it loop back around to the business and them persuading you into it? There's a difference between giving information and giving persuasion. Make sure you know what you're getting there.
Exactly. Because if they keep looping back to the business when it's clearly not an interest to the prospect, then, you're wasting the prospect's time, you're wasting your time, because they're not going to buy it. If they don't show any interest, in the first part of the conversation, then you're not going to sell them. It's going to be a hard sell, and you're going to get a no in the end, and you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah, beware. Somebody who's recruit. You're going to be getting a lot of voicemails when you try to call them. You're going to get a lot of no responses in your messengers. That's another thing to look out for. I think that's a big red flag, is a no response. How responsive are they? Is their current team, are they working with their current team? Is their current team, actually learning real tools from them? That's another thing. Talk to their team. If they can't provide you with some sort of, if you need, hey, I've worked with so-and-so, I've got testimonial, if that's not something that they can offer you at this time, you need to find out why. That's something that I encourage a lot of people to when they're, especially if they're starting out and they're going into like a consultation, they want to be a consultant or, a coach of some sort. To start somewhere, start giving value, and in exchange for that value when you're first starting out, because again, you're kind of like beta testing. So instead of charging people, ask them for their honest testimony. That's always a really good strategy. I know when I first started, I did a lot of free consultations just to kind of get some momentum there. And the thing is, I always got honest feedback. And I can honestly say I've never had to edit anybody's testimony or anything like that. And I could always share those testimonies with people because I did so much work and I gave so much value that their businesses actually did see improvement. So if you've got somebody who's even somebody who's new, who's working with you, they should have some sort of testimony, whether.
Yeah. Kid attack. Did we lead into the last point, which is a good mentor invests time in their team?
Yeah. I do want to add to this, because when it comes to investing time, there's always going to be the person, this is for the mentors out there, there's always going to be the person who is needy, and there's going to be the person who's wanty. There's both of those out there, so be careful and know where to invest. This is ridiculous, this child over here.
Sounds like somebody's needy.
Yeah, definitely more wanty than needy. No. Anyway, know where to invest your time. Know that you're going to get something back out of it. Because if you are going to give value to somebody, you're going to provide some solutions for somebody, and you know for a fact that you're going to end up in the same exact conversation in less than a week, that is not an investment. That is a waste. There's a big difference. And for the people who are requesting and who are needy or maybe a little wanty, understand that your mentor has to make these calls, has to make these judgment calls. And if you don't want to be the call of, I'm sorry, this is no longer an investment. This is a waste. This is time spent, not time invested. If you don't want to be on the spent side, you need to step up your game. You need to put in the work.
Yeah. Yeah, and a good mentor, will jump on and hang out with you if you're struggling with something. It doesn't matter if it's a personal problem or a business problem. A good mentor will help you, find a way to solve that problem. A good mentor will travel and stop by your house and spend a week with you when they're starting their travels around the United States, like my mentor and sponsor Katie did. Her and Pops come and stayed in the campground right outside of town here, and spent a week with me. What kind of mentor is that? That's wow.
Yeah, I know Dave's had multiple Zooms with me.
Yes.
Where he spent, well over an hour just hanging out with me, talking, not even just about business, but like I said, investing that time with me, and reaching out to me. And those conversations are definitely not forgotten. They're so appreciated too, especially at that time where I was going through so much growth. And of course the goal is to continue the growth. It's just, there was some major growing pains for me, and having that sort of support, knowing that was there was a big difference. It made a lot of difference. And it's funny, I was just telling him too, I'm like, to think I am here right now because I think about a year ago, he asked me to share my story on his Monday night hangout. And I think about everything that's happened in between that year and all the things that I've been able to accomplish. And I remember when he asked me, I was not ready. I did not feel ready. What part of my story do you want me to share? This is like 1,000,000 years long. where I was just so overwhelmed by it all, and coming out to the other side now, where it's like this is second nature to me. And my uncle was here the other day, and he's like, "What are you doing?" He sees me on a Zoom with Christina, and he's like, "What is that? Is that a video? Is that Skype?" And I'm like, kind of. It's so normal to me now that it's so odd to somebody else. I don't know. It was just it's a funny to look back and see all the difference that just a year can make.
Yeah, to add to that about mentors, being able to get on calls or visiting and things like that. I think it's also really cool when a mentor lets the mentee know, like, hey, when you grow your team, if you need my help in encouraging them, I'm available too. So not only to you, but also to your team. And I think that's really cool. That's something that I've experienced. I mean, Wendy's definitely offered that to me, and a couple other leaders that have done the same, that are in the same business that I've built relationships with. And it's really nice to see somebody give that selflessly, because they don't have to do that, especially if they're not on your team, just somebody that is just being nice and just offering that. I mean, not to say that I would, take advantage of anything like that, but I think that it's cool to have somebody to offer that. I would definitely utilize that within my own team and like with my own mentor and sponsor like Whitney. But I mean, it's really cool to see people give selflessly like that as mentors. And I think that that's a positive to look for as well.
Yes, exactly. And it didn't seem like it's been an hour, but we're at the top of the hour, and this has been an awesome hangout. Christina, thanks for coming on and sharing your wisdom and insight with us. I think it's really cool, and to see your take, because you've been around the industry a little bit too, so you're not a newbie no more. You're kind of experienced. So thanks for hanging out with us, and we'd like to have you back sometime. So
thank you. I appreciate it.
But we're going to get ready to close out the show. Wonder what you got any final thoughts before I close it out?
Only if there's any real bottom line here is just to investigate, do your research, and take your time before joining a new business opportunity and joining a new sponsor or mentor for that matter. A good mentor doesn't care if they profit from you financially. We have plenty of examples of that in this chat. Dave has no financial gain for me. Katie, Jamie, no financial gain for me, but they've all invested time in me. And, I can honestly say that without that investment of time, I would not be where I am right now. And, for everybody in the chat, thank you, 1, for showing up, and 2, for engaging. It makes it so much more fun and lively when we have that engagement. And anybody watching, please feel free to join into the chat next time. Would love to hear from you. And thank you very much, Christina, for coming on.
Thank you for having me, both of you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, exactly. We enjoy everybody that's in the chat. Welcome everybody, all the new people that were in the chat. Welcome. Come back. Bookmark this page. Come back next Thursday, because we'll have another great topic for you. And other hangouts going on through the week. Monday night is a 24-hour marketing mastermind with Dave Renicky, Katie Stage, Pop Stage, and myself. Tuesday afternoon at 4 o'clock is Sonia Marie. I think their show is Marketing Systems at Work, or Marketing Strategies at Work, or something like that. Wednesday is Wisdom Wednesday, Pat Patterson, Dr. Wade, Dave Renicky, and Katie Stage. And then next Thursday here is Thriving Thursday. And next week we're going to be a little short, because next week is a Deep Abyss call from a 7-figure earner. And if you want to know what the Deep Abyss is and what it's all about, you're going to have to contact me or Wonderwit. Scroll down below the chat box. You want to talk to me, there's contact Jamie. On the other side, there's contact Wonderwit. If you want to contact Christina and talk to Christina, you can find her on Facebook at Christina Mitchell. And we'll see you all next Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thriving Thursday.